So you lived in Anaheim?
We lived in Irvine, but it's like 20 minutes to...
All right, so you were born in Disneyland.
I was born nearby.
And then you realized when you're the age of 2 that from Disneyland you come to Israel. Which is basically the Disneyland of the Middle East. A Mickey Mouse country, which if I ever saw one. שלום וברוכים הבאים לאי כושר הוט-דוג, פודקאסט הבייסבול הראשון בעברית עם יוני לב-ארי ואנוכי ארז שעד. שלום יוני!
מה קורה ארז?
בסדר, אתה שם לב שאני אומר אי כושר הוט-דוג, אני כבר מכין את המבטא.
זה אומר שישראלים באו להתארח.
כן, אבל לפני זה נציין שאנחנו במשדר 221, משדר הבא יהיה מיוחד. והוא מגיע אליכם בחסות תטרש, מסחר ויבוא עצים, כל סוגי העצים מכל רחבי העולם, ובאיכות יוצאת דופן.
זהר על האיכות.
הגרוף יצא מהדופן. בקרו אותנו, בכתובת דרך בן צבי 20, שזה מאוד קרוב לרכבת הקלה מסתבר.
ולסלמה.
וליפו. או באינטרנט, tima.co.il, כי המחירים שלנו הם לא בדיחת קרש. אז טוב. טוב, לפני שאנחנו נתחיל, למעשה, כדי שנוכל להתחיל, אני רוצה להגיד, אנחנו ממשיכים עם הפרויקט שלנו, שחקני ומאמני ליגת העל בבייסבול ישראלי, והפעם הישר מרעננה הרחוקה, כן? רעננה? תל אביב? אתם תל אביב.
כן.
אוקיי, אז הישר מתל אביב הקרובה.
היינו.
תכף אנחנו נדבר על זה, אז איתנו מייק, מוריץ ואיתי ראובני. הלו גייז. בוקר אור. קודם כל באמת, מייק, אז בוא תסביר לנו, אתם הייתם רעננה ועשיתם אדי מרפי טריידינג פלייסס. מה היה שם?
וואי, אני חושב שהסיפור, כשהגעתי לארץ ב-22 ואני הגעתי לטריי-אוטס, היה לנו טריי-אוטס בספטמבר כזה.
אתה אומר את זה כאילו זה משהו מפתיע. They do try-outs, בוא.
נכון. And suddenly a couple days later, they said, okay, you're going to be on the Ra'anana team. And I realized that the Ra'anana team, this is what I think is the story, was that it was an expansion team. At the time, I think it was either, you can check me on the history, it was either the third or the fourth team in the league.
The whole league is expansion.
There you go, every day.
Keeps expanding.
However, I consider Jake Greenberg, our GM and our coach, and I think he's a whiz at what he does. So somehow he was able to trade places with the Tel Aviv team, which I think is better. And so we became, after our 1 year of, I think, winning one game as the Ra'anana team, plus a playoff game, then we became the Tel Aviv team.
And then all of a sudden you almost won the championship. You were one wild pitch away from winning the championship, or not losing it. Itai, you're coming to us as I would say Yoni's favorite player.
אוקיי, אז אני אספר משהו קטן.
כן.
המאזינים כבר
יודעים... Like you're my favorite player.
המאזינים כבר יודעים שהבת שלי שיר היא שיחקה בייסבול בליטל ליג. ומתחת ג'יי גרינברג, הוא היה מאמן שם. והיינו, כשהתחילה לשחק והתחברה יותר למשחק, היא אומרת לי, אתה הולך לראות עם ארז משחקים בכפר הבפטיסטים, אני רוצה לבוא.
לא, אבל משחקים של ג'יי.
בטח משחקים של ג'יי שיחק, וגם היה את נולן טרנטינו, שהבן שלו שיחק, ריילן שיחק איתה גם. אז אמרנו, יאללה, אנחנו הולכים, היינו באים, עוצרים ביילו ליד, קונים חטיפים, נאצ'וס בדרך כלל, ופותחים 2 כיסאות ומתיישבים ליד ארז, שומעים אותו מבלבל במוח, ורואים משחק.
לא, האמת היא שאני חושב שזה היה חלק מהעניין, כי זה סוג של, כאילו, זה עזר להבין עזר לה קצת להבין מה קורה, כי אתה שומע אותי מתבדל.
בעיניים, מול הפרצוף, זה אחרת.
כן.
וכל פעם, היה אחד שהיה עולה, כל פעם שהוא היה עולה, או שהיה דאבל, או שהיה איזה לונג סינגל, תמיד היה קורה משהו. ולאט לאט קלטנו שתמיד ארז היה אומר לפני זה, הנה איתי ראובני עולה. ומתישהו לאט לאט התחלנו לייצר מצב שהבנו, הסלאגר זה איתי ראובני, אוקיי? אתה יודע, אתה לא מכיר את הפנים, אתה לא מכיר את השמות יותר מדי, אז מאז, כל פעם שאיתי ראובני היה, זה היה ברמה של לא הולכים לעשות פיפי. תכף איתי ראובני עולה. ההספד הזה אנחנו נשארים.
אוקיי. לפני שנמשיך, I have a question. First of all, happy birthday to Neil Allen. Bob Euchre tomorrow, Walker Bunk, I don't know, never mind. Okay, here's a really interesting question. On which pitcher did Fernando Tatis hit 2 grand slams in one inning?
וואו.
אני זוכר את האירוע, אבל...
אני לא זוכר את השם.
Oh, that's the good one. אם היית זוכר את השם, it was gonna be a very short question.
Fernando Tatis
Sean
Senior.
Hopper.
סיניור,
On the Cardinals.
הוא היה בקרדינלס, נכון.
Off a Mets pitcher.
צ'אנהו פארק,
Wow.
קרלוס פרז, ג'ף קיובנקה, או איסמאעיל ולדז.
Say again.
צ'אנהו פארק,
מה היה פעם?
קרלוס פרז, ג'ף קובנקה, איסמאעיל ולדז.
I don't think it was Chanho Park.
אוקיי, כל אחד יבחר, we're four, so כל אחד יבחר one.
יש אחד.
כן.
אני הולך על ולדז. יש לי הרגשה שזהו.
ולדז, בשבילך, ולדז.
כן, ולדז.
They have the thingy.
ניקח פרז.
פרז.
I'm going Valdez.
אוקיי.
Okay, so nobody, I take Kubenka. Okay, never mind. We'll figure it out by the end of the show. So, first of all, it's a great pleasure to have you guys here. I'm completely natural. I don't have a team. I always joke like when
The Mets,
okay, yeah, the Mets. But in Israeli, it's like when
ג'קט של המאץ.
כן, בית שמש is playing like, what's the name?
היה לכם בלו סוקס פעם, לא? בליגה ההיא שנפתחה ב-2005, מה זה היה?
כן, בית שמש בלוסוקס, לא מדברים על זה. לא, אבל כשבית שמש משחקים נגד הנבחרת, אני אומר, אוקיי, it's the Israel team, I'm Israeli, it's בית שמש, I'm from בית שמש, so I'm like for both teams.
Okay.
But I really think you're like the cute pesky guys. I really like it. I think you have a nice team spirit. And I have to say, like, Mike, I considered you like the, I don't know if you noticed that, but I consider you like the team captain, you know? You were, because you wore the different hat, and you were in a shortstop, and you were like, you know, the leader of the guys on the field. Okay, and then they kicked you to the outfield and everyone forgot about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so start with you, Mike. You're like age before beauty. Let's do it.
Okay.
You were born in?
I was born in New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
In Summit, New Jersey. And but I grew up in Connecticut. I was born in New Jersey, and then we moved back into New York City. And then when I was like 7, we moved to Connecticut, the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in Connecticut. I grew up in Connecticut playing a lot of baseball.
That's right.
And for also very good organizations, and I got my butt kicked and I got a lot better at baseball, and I was waking up at 5 in the morning to work out, and it really shaped my life.
At the age of?
7.
I probably started getting up early when I was like 13.
All right. Still early. Because this is something we talk about. Israeli kids that come to the PL, they don't have that experience. They don't have the idea that you basically are joining an organization. I mean, Little League is a national organization. You get good, you win championships, you win local and state, and maybe even go to play in, where is that, Omaha?
Yeah, Omaha. I never got close to that, but I played on a lot of good teams.
You flew over it, probably.
Yeah, probably. We played on teams in high school. In America, of course, it's big to play on your high school team. And also they have club teams. So I played on both. Why? I was born in 1996, the year that Derek Jeter brought everything to fruition the first time. And,
It didn't bring you to fruition, I
He
hope.
brought me to fruition.
Yeah, okay. So you basically, by the time you started knowing about the Yankees stopped winning championships.
Stop playing.
It was 2000.
The Giambis.
It was 2000, and it was in the summer, and I was at a family friend's house.
All right,
and
you
my
were 4.
brother, I was 4. My brother and his friend, they put the Yankees game on the TV, And I always will remember, I will always have this memory. I was looking somewhere else in the room, and I turned and I looked at the TV, and it was Derek Jeter, like close up to his face as he was getting ready to hit.
And you was,
That was
and
the
that's
first time.
still,
You fell in
and
love.
you were
And
still
I
a
fell in
fan.
love.
And you were still a fan.
Yes.
I mean, we're not talking the handsomest guy in the room, but I mean, I fell in love with Ichiro. Now Ichiro's a hunk. I can look at his face.
Jeter is a good-looking guy.
Jeter was better
Yes.
looking when he was younger.
Yeah,
All
everyone.
right. And you are an outfielder, and
Oh yeah. I'm an outfielder by vocational training.
Mm-hmm.
But that one year when we were with Ra'nana that you were referring earlier that I was the shortstop, that was the first time I ever played shortstop for a team full time. Wow.
Which is why you only won one game.
That's exactly why.
All right. and do you consider yourself in the team, because it's really weird. We have coaches playing, and we have so it's, some of the coaches play and some don't. So do you think of yourself as like you have to take on an extra role, or you just say, okay, Jake's the coach, he's the leader, I'm basically just here to have fun?
I think that you have to give everything that you can give to win.
Right.
So for me,
You have more experience, you have more knowledge, you have a personality for that, I think.
maybe so, but but Itai is even level above me until we get to this season. Then you'll see some things that will happen. But I'll just say, we have Itai, we have Tzachi, we have guys who Nolan, we have guys who really went through the system.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, especially in the U.S. and I think it's all about winning. So everything that I want to do on the field is to win the championship that we have in the league, and it's not necessarily to say, oh, what do I need to do to be more of a leader? No, what's going through my head is, what do I need to do to help this team win, and then let everything else fall into place.
Well, for example, maybe the best way for them to win is for you to go to Tanzania. I'm kidding.
What's the thing with Tanzania?
He was just
Yes.
because I'm not making it a joke. You were in Tanzania.
Yeah, so after our spring season, I flew to Tanzania to do an internship for a master's degree that I'm doing in international
To
development.
do safari there, right?
Yes, I did safari as well.
Yeah,
but that's the reason they go there.
But I did
internships.
internships.
Yeah.
Is zoology and rhinoceros.
I did internship for a degree in
Very colonial of you, by the way.
international development. Yeah, very good. I didn't realize if we were thinking about that.
Okay, I was thinking. Okay, so you were in Tanzania.
I was in Tanzania.
It's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. My heart was open, my mind was opened, and that's why I'm a better baseball player now.
Yeah, and
No,
did you learn anything there? It's a new curveball, a new stance. Did you practice?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
There's
I
some
brought
baseball fields there?
I brought this baseball with me. No baseball fields.
No baseball.
Only the
They
ones.
don't know what baseball
Only
is.
fields.
Only the ones in
Field.
my head. Yes, exactly. No, I did a lot of working out, but I did a lot of reflection. I've had a couple bad seasons since I came to Israel, and it was only since the very end of the recent season that I was there, the spring season, where we got to the championship, that I started to turn things around. So I had some time to think about what went well during those last 4 or 5 games, and where am I going now as a hitter.
All right. So let's talk with you, Itai. Itai Raubeni, a very English-American name. It's, I think the Reuvenis came with the Mayflower, into... So explain to me, אתה לא צבר, but you're also not an American, or are you both? How do you see yourself?
I'm a little of both. That's how I see myself. Like I can blend into both communities, kind of.
So you were born in the U.S.
I was born in the U.S.
Parents were Israelis.
Yeah, my parents were Israeli. They were in the U.S. for 2 years, and I was born during those 2 years
All right.
in Southern California. Like Orange
You're
County.
an Angels fan, which is a new thing for so welcome.
Yeah, an Angels
The first
fan.
Angel fan on Kosher Hot Dog.
Because we live like 15, 20 minutes from the field, and
So you lived in Anaheim.
we lived in Irvine, but it's like
Yeah.
20 minutes to...
All right. So
Yeah.
you were born in Disneyland.
Was born nearby.
And then you realize when you're at the age of 2 that from Disneyland you come to Israel, which
Yeah.
is basically the Disneyland of the Middle East. A Mickey Mouse country, which if I ever saw one.
For sure.
Okay, enough politics. So you grew as an Israeli.
So at the age of like 1, we went back to Israel, and I was in Israel until I was 4. And at the age of 4, we moved like permanently to Irvine, so I grew up pretty much in Orange County, Irvine.
All right. So and until what? Which basically again what?
So I was born in
years of-
'93.
All right. So you're older than Mike.
I'm a couple years older than Mike, and I moved back to Israel in 2018, alone.
That's it. For good.
Wow.
Yeah.
You never know.
For now.
Yeah. For now, I'm here.
It's it's this it's
Current
not
state,
like
right.
Israel. Israel is a state for now.
What made you come back?
So I have a lot of family. I have like cousins, aunts, uncles. They're all still in Israel, and I went to Berkeley. I studied there. I played baseball on the club team there. Like so my freshman year I was like gonna walk on. I was talking to the coach and stuff about it, and then there were these 2 guys on my dorm room floor. Like,
Oh, you were a walk-on in college?
no, so I was like gonna walk on, and there were these 2 guys on my floor who were on the team, and they were just
Wow.
douchebags.
Dude.
I hated them. It was like a few weeks in, I couldn't stand them, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And then I ended up playing the club
This
team.
is the same story for me.
Really?
Same story.
So what happened? You didn't like them and you didn't join the team?
Huh.
You
Yeah.
walked off?
Yeah, that was so before that, like in high school, like because I was in SoCal, like I was like recruited by a few colleges like down there. I really wanted to go to Berkeley, and so like they
Obviously,
were
I can understand that. I really wanted to go to Berkeley as well.
not because of politics or anything. It was,
No. I mean, it's like MIT, Berkeley.
a good school,
you want
yeah.
to go there.
yeah. So then when I got there, like I remember I was like a few years later, I was like talking to other people because there were some people on our club team who like were scouted and did play on the, and they weren't that good. Like I was like better than them, and like they kind of said the schools kind of like recruit in their area, like the NorCal schools kind
Oh,
of
really?
recruit.
Well, they can afford, because they're the Bay Area, so they can afford only stick to those guys.
Yeah, it was like something like that. So like maybe if I lived around there, I could have been recruited there or something. But like, and it was more in SoCal, and I like didn't. And then like I'm like pretty confident. Like I would have been good enough probably to play because there were a few people who like came and played
Is
on
there
our.
like a Bay SoCal rivalry? I mean, some
There
people
is, there
claim
is.
it's like 2 different states. I mean,
It's a big
California
state and
is
there's a lot of
basically
people.
3 different states. It's Southern California, the Bay Area, and Northern California. And I mean, I'm not an American. I just know the jokes. So it's really like a rivalry.
Yeah, it is kind of like the
And,
NorCal and SoCal. Yeah, there's like
And you're okay with living with an East Coast guy. So and that's a
fine.
big rivalry as well.
huh? Yeah, it is. But it's like
We're-
everyone
In
knows.
the East Coast, we're friendly, bro.
Yeah, no, but everyone knows the West Coast is the best coast. That's what
All
I tell
right.
you.
Yes, Tupac said. So you grew up an Angels fan. How you were? Did you? I mean, you were what 9 when they won the championship.
Yeah.
So you are aware of that.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
that.
So and also like if you look at like my jersey, it's number 9. Like that was my year when I was 9. That was like my
Oh,
special
gotcha.
year. I was when the Angels won. That was also the year when I like got like good at baseball. That was the year
It's
where I
one
like
of those. I mean, I really love the stories. I mean, we watched the Red Sox winning, and I said, well, that's basically one of the biggest, if not the biggest story. To the chagrin of Yoni and Mike, of course, in baseball, the comeback of the, and I think that we, in the same vein, the first, I think, decade of the 2000s, with you winning the Yankees winning the Subway Series, then Arizona, amazing, then the Angels, amazing. Then 2003,
Disaster.
a disaster again, but thing, and then the comeback again, amazing. It's like we had like a very, if you like movies, those are like highlight movies. So the team goes against the greatest player in the world, I mean, bar none, still one of the greatest players ever. Top 5 for me, top 10 for Yoni. One of the greatest players in the world. It's a all-star team. They are like a very small, a very ragtag guys. Both teams came from the wild card, and they go to the game 6, 3-2, and they just win. I remember watching it, and I think that if I wasn't a fan by then, I was a fan by that series.
John Lackey was that game, I think.
Whoa.
It was like Lackey's rookie year.
And the thing is, I was Barry Bonds. I was amazed by him. I mean, I didn't care about steroids and anything else. Still don't. I mean, I don't like it, but
Good for you.
no. But I mean, I just watched him, and the way he would get at one pitch in the zone, and he would send it over to the waters like it was nothing, and I was like, this is greatness, and they couldn't win. The silly monkey kept
because
bouncing.
the other side had the real team.
Yeah,
They had the lineup 1 to 9 with great guys, you know.
And that's the thing, because the baseball I loved is the Angels, the greediness, the
Sean
small
Figgins,
guys,
Sean
what's
Figgins
his
is
name,
my guy.
Eckstein, you know, one of those guys that would
David
run,
Eckstein,
he would
yeah.
get a walk and he would run to
Kennedy.
first base, and I'm loving this guy.
Yeah.
So it was so much fun. One of my favorite World Series ever. So you were 9. How was it? Did everyone
go to a game?
So we didn't go to any games. At that age, like my parents, like I liked baseball, but my parents, there was no baseball like culture in the family or anything.
So how did you catch up?
Because they were Israelis?
What made you?
Because they're Israelis. I was just like.
And in Iran, this was like an Israeli, because we know Israelis tend to stick together, so there was like a Israeli community, a neighborhood.
Yeah, it wasn't too like. There was, but not too many, I guess.
Yeah, but that means no baseball
Yeah.
fanship. We don't watch baseball. They
Yeah.
probably watch.
Haifa,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're probably watching VHS of Israeli soccer or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just me, and I really like baseball, and like I would watch the games, and I got my parents to watch just because like I needed to watch, and just that World Series really before that I remember like I think I started playing when I was like 6, and then like when I was 6, I wanted to be number 6. When I was 7, I wanted to be number 7. Like I was like my age, and then number 9, like that was like the year where like I think I made like All Stars and like the Angels won, and like everything was like coming together, and I was like, and I really fell in love with baseball, and then that became my number. Like number 9 is my number.
And were you? What were your position in? Did you always play the same position, or did you?
So I've always, I think when I was like little, around that age, I think that's when I caught. I was a catcher for a number of years. I would like catch and pitch.
Right.
And then I started playing a little bit more infield, and like high school, I started, like freshman year, I played some varsity games as a catcher. And then I ended up playing more first and third, like afterwards.
So,
Nice.
I mean, what do you play now?
Now I'm like shortstop, or I took Mike's position.
First and third, no, because first and third is caught by your coach and your and the other guy.
Yeah, we find. I've also like I played in like other, like in college when I played.
Jake played second.
Ethan plays a lot of
When
first.
he
I remember him playing
No, he
second.
plays
Plays
second.
some second. His arm is broken.
Here Nolan, if somebody else needs to play third or first, then they move themselves to second. But technically, Jake is the first baseman and Nolan is the third baseman in the lineup. I don't know, in the card in the MLB.com.
So when you came to Israel, you were how old?
24.
How did you? What was the first thing you did baseball in Israel? The first click with the Israeli baseball.
First thing was I found. So like kind of when I did college, the first year I like didn't play baseball. It was like a new place, and I was like adjusting, and then I played club the next 3 years. So here as well, in the first year I didn't really play. I played in this adult league in the Bay Area before I moved, and the first year here I didn't really play. And then I found on Facebook there's like a Saturday beer league or whatever at the park.
Oh, Nolan's.
And so I started playing there, and
Adam.
I played there, Adam, and it was like fun. I enjoyed it, and then I think it was like fall, right after COVID, maybe 2020 or 2021. I played on the Ra'nana, like on Mayor. So Mayor, who comes on Saturday baseball sometimes,
Right.
he asked me if I wanted to join, and I kind of talked to him, and I was like, sure, yeah, why not? And yeah, it was also the green machine. It was the same color, the same jersey, but we were like Ra'nana.
Yeah, I mean, I always joke, it's like for Yoni, it's the green machine is the best of both worlds. Because Yoni is a Maccabist, Maccabi Tel Aviv, he hates the color red. So if you were like and he's Yankee, so he hates the green machine. So if you were the red machine,
Oh my God.
or the red monster,
The red monster, yeah.
if you were the red monster, he wouldn't, he
Yeah,
would
I
have
don't
told
know.
his Shir, he would have told Shir, I'm not coming to those games.
Yeah, yeah.
But
you
Jake,
choose the other name. the
Jake
other-
wouldn't have let that happen because Jake is Jake Greenberg.
Ah.
This is the green
That makes
machine.
sense. I never thought of that.
Ah.
I never thought of that.
This is
Oh,
the
man.
conspiracy truth.
Oh, the Green Mountain, I think. All right,
think about
the Green Giant. And for the record, Tzachi, you spoke about Tzachi also. I think Tzachi is.
Haberman, right?
Legend.
Yeah, I think he's after Aviv. He's like my favorite pitcher.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's really good. If he could have pitched 5 days in a row, you would have probably won the championship that season. But
Who plays 5 days in a row in Israel?
No one.
no, but I mean, if he could have pitched like the whole series, just for the record, I mean, you got the whomever made the lineup for the Misgav was probably on serious drugs. I don't know if you remember. They were like, they didn't pitch Aviv because they thought they were going to walk over in game 2, and then you won. And
Never do that.
yeah, I was like, I'm probably on record saying who's the hell is doing that.
But they won.
Hmm?
Eventually they won, so.
Barely.
Yeah, but very. I mean, they made like every mistake in the book. You were. I mean, I remember that you had like a series of comebacks. Still, my favorite. I think my favorite call was from like the when you won the semifinals. And it was again like a walk-off or something, and I like stood up
Yeah,
and
right.
started screaming like Tel Aviv Lagara, Tel Aviv Lagara. I need to find that one. It's
That's awesome.
Freddie Bain's favorite call. He like he clipped it and sent it to me and said like, okay, you arrived, like you had your call, you have your thing, and. But you said, Mike, you want to win. Now, we all know this is baseball, the hardest game on earth. You win, what is that? You win a third of your games, you lose a third of your games, whatever you do in the other
And the middle 60 games is what makes the difference.
Yeah,
between
exactly.
Good and bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I mean, nobody wins, even the best team wins 100 games. So basically they win 2/3 and they lose a third. The worst team in baseball won 40. So you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a lot, and it's gonna be cruel, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna come up 0 out of 4, and you might even be 0 out of 4 for like a month.
A long time.
Yeah, especially because we don't play every day, so you might play once a week, struck out, come next week, struck out, and it's gonna be like a big slump. I mean, if an MLB player is not hitting for 2 weeks, then you get kotarot in the papers, like you have the headlines in the papers.
For sure.
So, but for us, it's 2 games. It has to be really hard. I mean, mentally.
But I wanna explain something about our team.
Yeah.
We started. I'll say I started with the team very much at the bottom. You know, I keep saying it was an expansion team. I don't know if that history is right, but I'm going to keep saying it. It was an expansion
If
team.
you keep saying it, it would be end of the day. You know,
That's
how history works.
We'll go back in the IAB history and confirm it, but it was an expansion
We're gonna
team.
have
You know?
Josh here in the next
That
week,
would be good.
so he will confirm or deny anything you say.
It was an expansion team, and so the way that I saw it, this was in 2022, that Jake, the IAB had asked Jake, or Jake got chosen to lead this new expansion team, and the tryouts that were held, and the players that showed up were essentially the players that were able to be on that team. And I was one of those players, and like I said, we only won 1 game. But as the team started developing, when Tzachi arrived, a couple other players arrived, eventually Itai arrived, and we started to see ourselves as a team with a stronger identity. And it still took a few weeks to start stringing up the wins.
What do you mean by identity?
I think that identity is extremely important in a team capacity. The thing about identity in baseball versus basketball is that it's different, because in basketball, when you have an identity, a lot of that is based on chemistry, because the way that you move the ball up the court, the way that you know your teammates' tendencies. It's not like that in baseball. In baseball,
most of team sports.
Most of team sports. But in baseball, I'll say in the MLB, or when you're playing 100 games or more, the identity becomes something that is long term. And when you have only, we play like 15, 20 game season. Yeah. So you have to figure out your identity quick. And when you're only playing once a week, and maybe you don't have practice all the time, so it takes longer to understand who we are as a team. Not only on the surface level, understanding the coach, how to use each player, where to put them, when to change the pitcher, and knowing the personnel on that level, but also having the belief in ourselves that we are this team. And I think it took us, the team came into last spring as a fully fledged, ready to go winning team, but we still took a few weeks to understand that in ourselves. Right. But when we got to the championship, that's when we started to understand ourselves. We're the best team in the league. We're the team to beat. Right. So, and I'm saying that from my belief. So now coming into this season, we have an understanding, and I wasn't here in the fall. I was meditating in Tanzania. But the winning was still, even though we got bounced out in the first round, we still were able to build an identity of winning. Right. So now we're going in a good
And this
position.
season was even harder because rescheduling and wars and weather and everything else really messed up that season. I mean, it was a very tough, and you know what I'm talking about, Vatai.
To every team.
Yeah, everyone. Even the team that won the game that says like, yeah, but they skipped switching the team around, and we were supposed to face Ra'nana. No, you're gonna face Miska. No, you're gonna face, and it was a bit of a messy season. But you still and I say you come from Little League experience, which is interesting, by the way. We usually have guys who come from, we were in the U12 and then the U14. So neither of you played in Israel as kids. Mm-hmm. So it's a different aspect, and we get to that in a moment. But first, you come to this baseball atmosphere in Israel when it's not, and again, I don't know, number 10, number 15, number 20.
There are three, and then there's anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Only was
soccer, basketball, tennis, I guess, and that's it. Whatever else.
Tennis.
Yeah, well,
handball.
Tennis in Israel. Nah, come on.
Volleyball.
Who watch?
No, handball is.
Who watch?
It's on Friday.
Friday for 20 minutes
No, full game. Never mind. Yoni was a baseball writer in Ynet, and he basically, after 2 years, somebody came to him and said, "Dude, you're not doing anything here, so go home."
What?
No, I'm joking. You gotta say, he was a baseball writer. Oh, so you were after La Smuya.
I wrote, and when I write something, I do it whole way. I don't just write 100 words and put it. So I worked like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in anything I did, and after like 2 hours, they just put it down somewhere. Nobody can see it. So why do you work?
How is it for you to be a baseball player in Israel? I mean, because you probably were like, what do you do? Oh, I'm going to the game. Oh, really? Why do you play baseball?
In the Premier League, It's the big leagues of Israel.
So how is it after we badmouthed the Israeli baseball for so long?
Well, like here, when I tell like coworkers and things like that at work, like no one understands.
Where do you work?
I'm a software engineer. I work at Snappy now. Yeah.
What?
It's called Snappy.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I thought SAP.
No. So anyways, most people I talk to who are Israeli don't get it. Like the first surprise that Israel has baseball at all. Like they ask, are there any fields? And I'm like, oh, there's one. There's one field.
I remember.
You should tell them there's a podcast in Hebrew.
I can.
A guy
Hebrew and
I
English.
worked with, he said, oh, you have to go to the game. And I'm like, what game? He said, oh, Israeli baseball. I'm like, toying, there was an Israeli baseball. And I basically drove that day I drove to Baptistim like decades ago, and that was so it was both of us were very surprised, I think, at that moment.
Yeah, no, I always tell people, like, they ask where the field is, and I'm like, oh, it's in Baptist Village. I'm like, oh, of course it's in like a Baptist, like a more Christian, whatever area.
Yeah, well, it's very ironic that the only Israeli baseball field is on a Christian soil or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But is it so people know about it, or do you have friends watch games? How is it?
So I do remember.
I have Yoni. That's the friend who watch games. Other than him, I don't have. I have people I met through the podcast. That was a great revelation for me, because those are the people we know.
So I have like the friends, like you know, like I talk baseball with friends, like and who play baseball, like on the team, and Nolan and things like that. But I do remember. I think it was 2022, the World Baseball Classic in 2022. I remember like at work, my coworkers were watching it because Israel was doing well ever, and like all of a sudden like there was this food area, and there was this big projector TV, and they were watching the game.
Wow. 2022 we didn't do well. Maybe 2017.
No, it was 22 because I was at this job.
It doesn't mean we did well, but
We didn't do well.
No, they were watching. They were watching.
They didn't know.
No,
Yeah,
They watch the game, they
they
don't know what's going on
The
there.
thing is, Israel is like, there's a World Cup in baseball, and Israel is there, and it's one of the 20 greatest teams in the world. That's the story, but we didn't really do well.
Yeah, but I remember it really like. I like came into the office once and it was just like playing on the TV. Like I didn't do it, someone else did, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then they were really excited, and then they were like asking me these questions of like, oh, like why is this guy out? Like what happened? And, and I was
really
like,
sweet.
I was like explaining it to them and whatever.
Get a hit. Well, don't supposed to get hits in that game?
But it was.
They don't know what hit is.
Yeah, they don't know anything. Like
Neither did the Israeli team in that in that game.
Come on, you're a number one fan.
Dude, they had an 8-inning perfect game against them, and that.
I remember.
Yeah, I said this was like watching that game at 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning was probably the worst experience of my life as a fan.
So I guess that's a nice way to move on to the other stuff, like how to make baseball better in Israel.
Oh, that's so soon. Oh yeah, it's 40 minutes. Okay, never mind. Yeah. How would you make baseball better in Israel? Sorry.
Well, you should start.
Okay.
Mike is the man with a plan.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say that some of it is from my experience playing baseball. I played for a really amazing organization, a club team when I was a kid. When I was a teenager, aside from the high school team, Technique Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Technique Tigers, amazing organization. They're an AAU team in the area of Connecticut. Shout out Technique Tigers, Manny Torres, the head coach, founder. Also my coach, Ramon Sanchez. So these guys, they built a culture that was very attractive. And also they're great teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Israel, we still need to deepen our relationship with baseball, and I say that very broadly. We have a lot of passion, but we need to from an internal place. We need to strengthen our knowledge base, our wisdom, and I always thought to try to like connect this club that I'm talking about that I played for, Technique Tigers. Maybe like a Zoom call or a series of maybe a small mini workshop with our coaches, exchange knowledge. Understand some of their process that they do.
Mm-hmm.
Another aspect, and this comes from my experience in another aspect that I think is going well that we should continue to grow. That comes from my experience playing in college. So I have a similar story to Itai. I was interested in playing for the varsity program at Ithaca College, and the coach a couple of the coaches had come to watch me play during high school. They knew me. And I had a chance to walk on. But then I saw the culture, and I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near this culture. So I went to a couple practices, same story. And the guys, they were assholes. And I was like, this is not what I want to do. So what I ended up doing, again, similar to Itai, I went to play club baseball. And what I learned at club baseball, that was an opportunity for the students, and we were young, I'll say young adults, the players themselves as young adults learned how to manage the organization themselves. And this is something that happens in the PL that I think is good. And we should continue to grow this, because when I played at club baseball, we had to manage our own finances and do fundraising. We had to make sure that we had players organized, registered in an organized fashion. These are things that we do in the PL. For example, Jake, he takes care of this. Nolan, he's also involved in administrative things. So if we can continue to flourish that aspect as a way of professional, it's like you're learning professional skills as a young adult.
Right.
And this is a very important aspect. So internally, if we continue to grow the culture and how we do things and our systems and our systems of efficiency and our understanding of how to create a good culture. Mm-hmm. And culture is the key word. And there's a lot that goes into it. If we understand how to create that internally, then I think it becomes a more attractive product. So that's one approach that I have.
That's actually a very interesting approach. We didn't have it.
And I do want to say briefly, that's coming from someone that is doing volunteer projects with the IAB that's working on actual systems right now.
Yeah.
And that of course, yes.
Yeah, obviously,
but in terms of
the process must be
the process has to be better. And I could tell you about this.
The intangibles now.
But right now, exactly. So I'm doing volunteer projects with the tangibles. Right. And that's something that, yes, also needs to be improved. But what I'm saying, on the deepest level possible, the intangibles, the culture, that's where I think that we will continue to flourish.
I do think the most, I feel like just more fields. I think like that's like a very tangible, like, like growing up, like I used to, like, I just had a field, like just like more, like living in Tel Aviv, it's hard to find an area of open grass.
Like walking on something now in the street, like I know Nolan walking on something.
Yeah.
There's a diamond there.
There's a diamond, yeah. They need more than that.
They can just sell it and buy a field.
Walking on light.
I also like the culture thing that he was talking about. I also really, like, it really resonated with me, because growing up, like, baseball, I think out of every other sport, baseball teaches the most about, like, being responsible and like all these life lessons that
we talk about it often, because this is, I think, why we love it, because it's something that you have to be both great individual player and great team player.
אבא של אורי שלי said.
Yeah, exactly, and I also said it, but not as eloquently as he did. It's you have to be very good individual player, and you have to be a team player. You can be the best player, but if you're an asshole, then you're a cancer in the clubhouse, and the team will suffer. You can be a winner, and then everybody else hates you because you keep them. Why did you strike out? Well, it's baseball. You strike out. So you need to be the best of both worlds. You need to be focused. You basically don't do much for 3 hours, but you have to be focused for those 3 hours. Otherwise, you'll miss your one game. It's like
and you have a better English.
You have to, and you get to speak English, and you have to realize you're going to fail more than you succeed.
It's a recruiting thing. We need to recruit the kids. Get to the kids.
Yeah. No, I think it's like, it could be like marketing too, because I really do think baseball teaches the most. Like I always tell people, like, oh, like I'm like this, or I'm like all these things about me are things like I learned in baseball. Like it all comes back to like just things that I learned.
I really keep thinking, is baseball an Israeli game? Because I think Israeli people, they like soccer. First, they grew up on soccer, on basketball, because Israeli don't like to sit and wait. They're like, okay, that's the goal, let's charge, let's run, let's grab the ball and throw. And the idea that you basically stand in the outfield and wait for your thing, it's like, I don't know, it sounds, and on the other hand, standing and doing nothing, that's so very Israeli. So, but you think, yeah, but you still have to perform.
You see somebody like Sisi Sabathia getting to the thing. That's Israel, you know? That's what Israelis connect to.
Bartolo Colon, I mean, that's like the Israeli physique. So, but on the other hand, it's the idea that you fail, and the idea that you cannot, you can't cut corners. You have to step on all the bases, and you have to and it's very repetitive.
Fundamental is the...
Yeah, and I
That's
think,
something Israelis
That's hard.
like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like if you go to the Caribbeans and you watch cricket, that's perfect because Caribbeans are like doing the same thing time after time after time. I don't know if Israelis, because they go to the Caribbean because it's different. They go to India because it's different than what we have here. I really don't know if it's culturally or an Israeli game. I keep thinking it can be, but you have to really package it differently than you do in...
I'll say sometimes I wonder if the presence of a lot of war in our country is a reason why we don't like baseball. Maybe because it's too slow, it's not aggressive enough, and right now the state of the country, and not only the state of the country, but the state of our consciousness as a people is dealing with war all the time.
And we will have to do more bench clearing.
Maybe we have to do more bench clearing.
Yeah, but
That's
people
more.
actually, they're like...
It's just a theory,
It's
and
enough. It's,
I don't know.
It's exactly the thing you said.
I don't know if it's a
The best
connection
thing
at all.
to do is now let's go and sit down and have fun and relax and drink beer and chill with our friends for
I don't
2
know.
hours.
I know that soccer. When there's war, you can't go watch games because missiles and stuff. And
Okay, but still.
when it comes back, people so want it.
Look, I think on paper, if we were to be playing at Sport Tech in Tel Aviv, and there were lights, and there were some bleachers, and we were able to line up a couple food vendors, and just a couple small things for fans,
Everybody
and
goes
then
back to the food vendors.
and then
If
and then
you
you
build
have,
it, they will come.
right, and then you set like an organizational goal to get 50 fans,
Right.
and then 100 fans. Okay, so maybe it will build slowly over time. I mean, I don't know
And
why.
if you have in Bet Shemesh, then you get all the Jerusalem and Modi'in guys. They don't have to travel.
I don't really know the psychology of why people like baseball. I don't know why I like baseball.
Why do you like baseball?
I don't know why I like
You
baseball.
don't know.
Something that sticks to you, and that's
It's just what it is. Like
Well,
it's something.
I mean, I went through every field of sports available.
but that's not what people do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a weird, I'm off Muzal. I don't know, I'm a weird guy. I know that.
I'm like you.
Yeah, that's why I like
You
you.
saw
But-
Jeter,
I go to
and that's
field-
it.
I
You
go-
saw Jeter, and that's it.
Yeah, but I go to fields just to see the field.
No, but
you
that's
know?
the thing. I mean, I watched Piazza and adored him, but my favorite player was Ricky Anderson. So, because I watched baseball and I'm like, but that's not the baseball I like. I like you guys' baseball. I like the baseball that you do with the wild pitches and but with the running and the spirit and the fun and arguing with Avichenko and that's what I like. I don't like the baseball with the
We
whole
should have more Jake coming out and taking like home plate
Yeah.
Avichenko and throwing it in.
Yeah, maybe.
I still think Jake's greatest moment was when I think he got killed on the field. So I was this close to having a death on the field, and turned out he just sprained his shoulder.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he was diving back in the first
Yeah,
base.
and I really thought the ball hit him in the back of the head and killed him, and because he was like
Really
right
hoped.
there.
Really hoped.
Yeah, and then turns out he just parak את הכתף, and that's.
So your favorite player is Derek Jeter all time?
For sure.
Yours?
I'm not even sure. So when I was young, it was Sean Figgins. Sean
Yeah,
Figgins was my
That's a
man.
great pick.
And then for a while, it was Trout for a while. So I was an Angels fan and Trout. And
Obviously, you can't
It's just
can't
sad.
watch him and not like him.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's
great
just-
and he's amazing, but it's just like the Angels have just been sad.
And he's been injured.
Yeah, he's just always I went to a game. I was back in the U.S. 2 years ago or so, and I remember I went to a game and like it was the first game in a really long time. I was very excited to watch, and I think it was like the second inning. Mike Trout was like running to third, and he got to third base or something, and the inning ended.
Moved to
The inning
went to the
ended.
bench and went to the club.
And then
Sign
and
for
then
the season,
and he
that's
was
it.
injured for like 30, and then that game, and then Ohtani hit a home run. We were like in right field, and it was
So-
like right in
So
front of
it's
us.
like passing the baton. Now
Yeah,
you're a
so
Ohtani
like-
fan.
So before we talk about a little bit about Goyim's baseball, I have surprisingly enough a very interesting lineup that you will probably have zero problem figuring out both teams. And I'm going to tell you the name of the players in order. You have to guess both teams, which you will be very easy, and also the year. Let's see if we can do this.
Okay.
So the game started with the away team, and the player was David Fletcher, second base. That's, I don't know how to say that name, Shahugi Autonai.
Wow.
He was the DH.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, only the DH. Then after Shohei Ohtani,
You just picked it like randomly?
yeah, just randomly. I was like, oh my god. Then he had a Mike Trout. What a coincidence. He was.
I think I know.
He was replaced after the third at bat. I hope he wasn't injured by Scott Shelber.
Okay.
Okay, then Jared Walsh, right field. Justin Upton, left field. Albert Pujols,
Oh, no,
first
I'm
baseman.
waiting for that.
Jose Iglesias was the shortstop. Jose Rojas, third baseman, and Kurt Suzuki was the catcher.
When Ohtani came to the Angels, what season?
2018, I think.
2018, I
Something
think.
like that.
So it's in between 18 and the season before last season.
Pujols.
Ah.
Pujols left 22. 22 he played.
I think 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like 18 to 22. Okay.
Pitcher was Alex Cobb. Then Alex Claudio, Junior Guerrera, and Ben Rowan. Okay,
Alex
that was.
Cobb moved to the Giants.
I don't remember that.
21, I think, something like that.
Okay,
Okay.
let's. The host team. Carlos Correa, shortstop.
Oh man.
Michael Brantley, left fielder.
Okay.
Alex Bregman, third base.
Okay.
Jordan Alvarez, DH.
Oh, that's something. Alvarez like came. It should be like 19 or 20. I think 20 maybe. Okay.
A player that I always refer to as Guli Uriel, but is actually Yuli Guriel, was on first base. Kyle Tucker, right field. Aledmis Diaz, second base. I don't know why. Miles Straw was on center, and Martin Maldonado was catching. Pitching, Christian Javier, Brian Abreu, Brooks Braley, Joe Smith, and Ryan Presley. So obviously we can tell that those are the Blue Jays.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Or California Angels.
The Los Angeles Angels of California. No, the California Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, and
they're
the
playing.
Astros of the Cheaters.
Yeah,
So the season, that's the question.
right.
19 or 20.
Which?
It's a 19 or 20, right?
I think 19, I think Jordan Alvarez wasn't still with the Astros. So I think 2020 was his first season.
20.
Kyle Tucker, when did he start? So,
I don't know, I'm gonna guess 2021,
Mm-hmm.
before Albert Pujols got released. Then that's when
Oh yeah, it
went to
was
the Dodgers.
released. I keep
Okay,
forgetting
so-
it just
I'll go with the COVID season.
2020.
I'll go with 21.
And you?
I'll go with 2020 as well.
So it is the Los Angeles Angels, just Los Angeles Angels. They are playing the Houston Astros in Minute Maid Park, 3 hour 43 games. And this happened on April 22, 2021,
I was close.
in front of 13,995 people.
Yarr.
It was COVID.
It was still COVID, you know.
COVID.
Yeah. It was like
Oh, yeah,
Every
I
other
see.
seat,
once
every
in
other
50,
seat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's really weird because, I mean, the one thing about baseball, Itai, is we all know that you can't buy a team. You have here Mike
You
Trout.
can't buy a championship.
Right, you can buy a champ. You have Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, number one and number two in most people's greatest player of the past 10 years. Maybe Shohei Ohtani is debatable whether he's maybe one of the greatest players in the century.
Yeah.
You have Albert Pujols, an aging one, but still. You had Rendon. You had people like Walsh and Upton and Rojas. You have a pitcher like Alex Cobb.
He doesn't want to play.
Yeah, but that's the point. And you still, those guys collectively, what was that, two playoff games in the entire record of the season? So, first of all, how is it, and that's what we talk about, a game of failure. You can by LeBron and Dwayne Wade and what's the third guy and win the
In basketball,
championship.
it's easier.
Yeah, I'm saying you can't get number 1, 2, and 3 players of that
You
season.
go back to your Afshani, and you
Yeah.
said if you take Shohei Ohtani and you put it in a team, or like a kids, it's just
That's
one at bat in every 9 guys,
Yeah.
so you can't win with that.
Well, if he's the pitcher and he can give the other guys
Yeah, no,
as a
I'm talking
shutout, then maybe he
I'm
can
talking
do
about
that.
fielding and,
But still, it's very rare. It's very rare. I mean, I think there's like 3 times in the history of baseball, the pitcher won the game by hitting a home run while having a shutout. So that's like, I think twice I know about, maybe there's the third time. I actually saw one of those 2 times. So is a fan, is that like, because everybody talk about now the rich teams, the poor teams, how is it as a fan? How is it as an Angel fan and as a baseball fan? You're not in the discussion even, because Yankees see the game differently. I mean, for them not getting to the World Series is a failure. For 29 other teams
15 years
making
of
the
failure.
but for 29 other teams making the playoff is a success. It's a good season. So how
Not
does
the Dodgers.
Hmm?
Not to the Dodgers.
No,
The Dodgers
okay.
are the Yankees now too.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, but Dodgers, backtrack 10 years ago, the Dodgers
Oh,
would have
okay.
said the same.
Yeah.
So how is it as a fan? How do you see it?
I just want to say, so I was living in the Bay Area in San Francisco when the Giants
Mm-hmm.
won they won 2011, 13, 15, I think. I wasn't there in 11, but I was there.
No, they won
10,
20,
12, 10, 12,
exactly.
sorry, yeah, I know it was 2 years
Yeah,
apart.
it's
So I was there in the,
It's
I was there in the
weird thing,
2012 and 2014, and the Giants then they weren't like a good team. Like on paper, like I remember like they had some good play, but they weren't like they were just a scrappy
like a
team.
championship team.
Yeah, they were like scrappy, and they just like
Yeah, because,
had.
and that's the weird thing, because every year afterwards they were like number 4 or 5 in their
Yeah.
division, and the next year they win the championship, but then they number 3 and then they win the championship.
Yeah,
It was
so-
really weird.
So that's the thing about like baseball, where it's not always about like the best players. It's like that energy and that vibe and things coming together and the team spirit and
Chemistry.
yeah, and the chemistry, and like the Giants those years just had that. Like you would watch the games and you could feel the energy of the team and how like they just wanted to win, and like you can be the most highly played player and the best player, but like if you don't have the energy of like you're gonna win this game, like you want to win, then you're not gonna
So
win.
are you facing the game with the mentality as an Angel player? Well, we may not win, but hey, we got the best. I mean, I'm watching it for Ohtani. I'm watching the game for Trout. I mean, I remember seeing Angels against White Sox, which it was the first game of a doubleheader on a very, very rainy day, and they walked, I want to say Trout, and the 5 people in the crowd booed their own team. And I'm like, yeah, I would have booed as well. I didn't come here to watch you play. I came here to see Trout hit a home run, even if it was against my own team, or Trout or Ohtani.
No, I would come to watch my pitcher striking him out.
So it's always fascinates for me. Anyway, we can blab on for a long time, but as you know, unlike baseball, we do have a clock, and it's ticking out now. But not before I will tell you guys that
Who was the pitcher?
Yeah, who was the pitcher that did
Gave up the 2 Grand Slams.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yoni.
Until you find it.
Okay, so was it Cham Hopa, Carlos Perez, Jeff Kubenka, Ismael Valdez? Everybody know what they picked. And the only... Oh, you said it can be Park, right?
Me too.
I don't think it would be Shanho Park.
Was it?
Well, because it
It was
was.
Channel Park.
It was on the 23rd of April, 1999. Park allowed 11 runs in the 3rd inning. Speaking of one-sided
Yes.
game, only 6 of them earned against the.
My goodness. Nobody picked Park, I guess.
Courtesy, the 6 runs surrendered were courtesy of 2 Grand Slams.
Now we know for sure. Now we know for sure.
Yeah,
That's for life.
yeah, he took him out of the park.
Twice.
Alright, so let's finish this one. ניתן יוני למצוא אותנו באתר בייסבול פודקאסט co.il או ביוטיוב, youtube.com/טרודל אי כושר הוטדוג. תוכלו למצוא את הפודקאסט באפל פודקאסט, ספוטיפיי וכמובן בכל האפליקציות. דרגו אותנו, תנו לנו משוב, סמנו לייק ופרגנו ב5 כוכבים, אני לא יודע מה, זה כבר היה, סליחה.
אז לא צריך.
אוקיי. חשיפה אצל כל חובבי הבייסבול שעדיין ישנם שם, כמו שיוני אמר, לך לעבודה ותספר לכל החברים שלך שלא רק שיש בייסבול בארץ, יש גם פודקאסט בעברית.
ואני על הפודקאסט.
ואנחנו נגיד תודה מיוחדת למפיק האחראי שלנו, חיים כץ, אתה יודע, היה לנו שיחה עמוקה על העניין הזה.
הגיע הזמן.
כן, הוא אמר לי שהוא הלך הוא היה בדיוק בשדה תעופה והוא היה רעב, ואז אמרו לו, מה אתה אוכל פה? אז הוא אומר, אני מנסה לקיים ומוציא לחם מן הארץ. אוקיי, ניתן להמשיך את הדיון בפייסבוק או באתר המאזרשיפ שלנו, הופס, co.il. טוב, כשיהיה בייסבול נדבר. יוני, משהו לאומה לפני שסוגרים?
ודאי.
אוקיי.
היום, זה 24 בינואר.
תודה.
תאריך של... מה?
לא, יש המשך.
תאריך שמגיל, אני יודע, 8, אצלי בלב תמיד, זה יום הולדתו של קווין מגיל, שחקן כדורסל שהכי אהבתי בעולם, והיום הוא היה אמור להיות בן 66, הוא כבר לא קרובים, יליד 59, נהרג בתאונת דרכים ב-23 באוקטובר 2003, יום שאני לא אשכח בחיים. אם אתה רוצה לקרוא דברים שכתבתי, אז כתבתי עליו כשהוא נהרג, אז כן, קווין מגיל שלי.
וואו.
אז 24 בינואר.
חשבתי שהוא היה יותר, וואו, מאוד צעיר.
כן, 44, היה 44.
אוי! זה אווירה דיכאונית זו.
אני פה בשביל זה.
תודה לכם על ההאזנה לאי כושר הוטדוג עם יוני. חבר'ה, תודה שבאתם. סליחה, אני בדרך כלל... שתדעתי שהוא הולך להגיד את הקווין מגיע הזה, אז רצתי קדימה. דלתנו פתוחה, אם תרצו לבוא, רק להתקשר לפני. Bring up the call up and come. if you still want to. אוקיי. תודה לכם על ההאזנה לאי כושר הוטדוג עם יוני לב-ארי וארז שץ ובייסבול טוב ישראל.
יאללה ביי.
Swung on a drill to right field. Doing back Sanders on the track at the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! A home run!
איזה קטע, בוב יוקר נולד ב-20 לא, ב-26. What a bummer. Dying on your birthday.
Almost made it.
טוב. That's actually a very... I really like it. יוני, מי מכין, מי ליינאפ היום? אני?
כן, אבל רגע, מה עם איתי?
איתי, whatever he said. No.
No, I have some good ideas.
Okay.
I think the
So,
most...
you said Mike, so it was like...
I gave Mike the opportunity to start. No, well,
Okay.
I think the Zoom thing is something you should talk about. That's a good idea.
The tiger technique?
Technique Tigers.
Because tiger technique sounds like a kung fu thing.
Technique Tigers.
That's something that